So today we're going to talk about being a compassionate leader. So if someone's coming to me and they're like, your soldier did A, B, C, D, and E. And I'm like, okay, got it. But I do weigh my soldier's character in that as well. And anytime that I reprimand my soldiers, I don't want it to leave that lasting negative impression on the military. A lot of times, E4 and below, when they want to get out of the military, it is because they have had an instance or an issue with an NCO or leadership in general that has had a lasting negative impression. Now, my name is Renee. I am an NCO in the U.S. Army, and I have been in the military for 7 years. Not that long, but it's long enough to have known a little bit, learned a little bit, got beat up a little bit, dealt with a little bit, and now I contemplated starting a new channel, but I'm actually not. I'm just going to start a new playlist where I talk directly to NCOs and people who are in the active duty realm or National Guard or Reserve, and just give you some of my insight on being a leader, on all the things that I have learned. So welcome to the first video. This is the only time y'all gonna get this long intro, but today we're gonna talk about being a compassionate leader. So I have been a leader, man, since I've been an E4, so probably at least 4 or 5 years. I actually requested having soldiers. I had a nice little cushy job. I had 62 civilians and it was nice. But as soon as I got my 5, I said, hey, First Sergeant, I need to be a leader. Like, that's part of being an NCO, and I love working with these civilians. Not really. But in order for me to be a well-rounded NCO, I need to have soldiers. So I actually was transferred to another department where I acquired my first set of soldiers. And let me tell you, it is a task. It's interesting relationship. So when my NCO got his E6, he handed down his E5 to me and he cried. And I was like, why is he like, I mean, I know we got a good thing going on. I know we work well together, but why he cried? Like, I don't understand. Now I understand. When I handed that same E5 rank down to my soldier, I was like choked up because the relationship is so intense. And I feel like what makes it intense is because I have chosen to be a compassionate leader. So today I want to tell you what I do, how I deal with my soldiers, how I try my best to be a compassionate leader and lead from the front and have that best relationship with them, to where they want to work hard, where they want to do their best, and where they actually want to grow and go far in the military. I have seen soldiers go from, I want to get out, I don't want to do it with this military, I've had too many bad experiences, to I actually want to stay in and re-enlist. And I'm like, oh my God, look at you. So let's talk about it. So first, when I talk about compassionate leadership, I am not talking about letting them get away with anything. I'm not talking about not holding them accountable. Actually, I hold my soldiers to a high standard, a super high standard, because I train them and make sure they know that everything that they're supposed to know. So when they have downfalls, we deal with it. And then also I make sure my soldiers know that there is an open door. So when things happen and I am sidetracked by other NCOs or other situations, I'm telling you, I deal with them because there's no reason they shouldn't have talked to me about it. So please don't confuse being a compassionate leader with being a pushover, because Sergeant James, nah, she ain't no pushover. For me, being a compassionate leader is actually dealing with them one-on-one, treating them, I hate the term that we treat them like our children, but kind of, right? You get to know them individually. You get to know what path they want. You get to know what their dynamics are and what kind of makes them tick and their little quirks. And you deal with them where they are in their military career. So right now I have 2 different soldiers. I have one that's a little older, one that's a little younger, and I can't treat them the same because their lifestyle is not the same. Where they live is not the same. Their family dynamic is not the same. Their work ethic, their education is not the same. So I need to get to know them on an individual level. And one way that I do that is my counseling. So I know counseling. People don't want to hear about counselings, but I'm telling you, that 10 to 15 minutes when I get to sit down with my soldiers and really really get to know them and get to know what makes them tick. I've made them give me long-term and short-term goals, and then we're actually able to work together to get there. If I wasn't counseling my soldiers every single month, we wouldn't know. I wouldn't know what they wanted to do. I wouldn't know how their lifestyle is outside of the Army. We would just come to work and go home. But that time with them, that individualized time where they can just chat with me and talk to me, I always put points down, and I will do another video at another time about how I counsel my soldier, but we already have talking points, so that way the conversation flows, but I also allow them to have the floor, talk about what they need to talk to. And when I'm done with my counseling, I'm always asking, what do you need from me? As a leader, what do you need from me? And a lot of times they do have things that they need from me. I need time to deal with my family situation, or I need time to deal with this personal instance, or I need time to do this, or a lot of time is time. I need time. But I need help going to this school, and I really want to do this in the military, and I really desire to go to that school, or do this, or do that, or do this. I need help getting here. And that's my job. But if I don't ask them what you need from me, if I took that time in that counseling and always made it, this is what you need to do, and this is what you need to do, and this is what I need from you, and this is what it needs to be, it would never get to where we have that relationship where I know them outside of work. So I always ask them what they need from me, and I listen and I set a plan. So if this is what you need from me, let's go ahead and figure out how I can accommodate you in the best way. So as long as it's okay with our superiors, right? My boss, our OIC, and as long as it's okay with our schedule, how can we support you in your endeavors? So counseling is a huge way that allows me to show my soldiers that I'm a person and open up that box for them to have that trust, because trust is huge when it comes to a soldier NCO relationship. I do allow my soldiers to see that I am human. So my grandparents actually passed in 2020. And I was working. I was actually coming from a jump when I got the call that my grandfather passed. And it was very hard for me, but in me dealing with that circumstance, in me pushing through, in me sometimes, having a moment and shut my door, allowed them to see that I am a person. And that's a huge thing for me. I do talk a lot to my soldiers about where I was and how I started and what it was like when I was a E4. And it wasn't too crazy long ago, but I do talk to them about things like that, because I want them to know that, yes, you meet me in this instance where I'm this NCO and I have all this experience and I've seen a lot of things in the military that you haven't seen. I haven't seen so much in the military, compared to other people, but compared to them, I've seen enough, So I try to remind them that, yeah, but I was PVT, okay? Actually PV2, So I started from the way bottom and I had to work my way up and learn and have those same experiences. So that's one thing. I do a lot of under the oak tree training with my soldiers. We actually go to the gazebo. It's a gazebo right outside of our battalion building. And we go there and we talk and we learn and we share in a professional manner, just so I can mentor them. Mentorship is huge for me, because I understand that this job that we're doing is not that hard, but when they leave me, they are going to be expected to know so much more than what we do physically here in our mission right now. So I have to make sure that they are good at the soldiering, make sure they're good at the medicing, make sure they are good in all these different areas, because they may go to a unit where it's just them, they're doc, and they are expected to be doc. So we do a lot of under the oak tree training, and I try to be relatable in military instances and let them know that whatever they're going through with their career, maybe I haven't been there, but I know someone, and just trying to talk them through that. So that's the second thing I do. I do a lot of mentorship. I do a lot of conversations and under the oak tree training with my soldiers to help again, build that trust in that relationship, so that way they know I have their back, but also they know that I understand where they're coming through when they have a lot of obstacles or any obstacles in the military. The next thing I do is I try to look at the whole picture. So there are times when your soldiers just do wrong. They just do things they ain't supposed to do. I mean, they're a soldier, and you have to deal with them. And you have to figure out how to deal with this adult person. It's an adult person in front of you, but you have to either reprimand them or counsel them, or take disciplinary action based on what the situation is. Like, there's times when things are just not always going to be nice and cushy, and you have to help to train that soldier that whatever it is that they did is just not right. So what I try to do is I try to look at the whole picture. I typically do not react as soon as something happens. I think about it. I let my soldier know, give them a warning, hey, we need to talk tomorrow. Something came up and I just need some time with you tomorrow. And typically I come and I think about it at home. I go over what happens, what could have happened, why it could have happened, why I wasn't informed until I was informed, what other scenarios could have happened, what could have led to that. I really do think about the full picture, because I don't want to pounce on my soldiers, and because I have that relationship with them and that trust with them, I have to deal with them based off of that as well. So if someone's coming to me and they're like, your soldier did A, B, C, D, and E, and I'm like, okay, got it. But I do weigh my soldier's character in that as well. And anytime that I reprimand my soldiers, I don't want it to leave that lasting negative impression on the military. A lot of times, E4 and below, when they want to get out of the military, it is because they have had an instance or an issue with the NCO or leadership in general that has had a lasting negative impression, that now they no longer see the military as something that is impacting their life positively, but now it's something that they just want out. I just want out. I don't want to grow anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to wear this uniform. I just want out. And that's not fair to them, because a lot of times they're making a rash decision, and it's just not best for them. They're messing up their money. They're messing up their stability. They're messing up the people who are dependent on them for that money and that stability. And I don't want to do that to my soldiers. So I want to come in with a clear mind and actually give them something that, I like to make sure the punishment matches whatever is going on. And I want them to learn from the situation. And I do want to take their time because I want them to not want to do it anymore. But I don't beat my soldiers. But I do, take their time and make them put effort into things that are going to teach them. Don't do that no more. That wasn't smart. And we have a conversation about it, and it's in their counseling, and then we go through counselings. After that, it's like, okay, so what did you learn from that situation? And are you ever going to be in that situation again? And if they choose to, then it'll escalate. But I do try to take my soldiers' character and the relationship that we have established in account when reprimanding them. And that actually helps the relationship later down the line. The soldier feels like you have their back. And even though they get in trouble or whatever, right, for whatever the instance may be, they still walk away feeling like you're an NCO that they can trust, that you had their back. And sometimes, it's something that they had to get, in trouble or reprimanded for. But they understand that when you could have done the most, you chose not to. You chose not to embarrass them. You chose not to do any of these things that really put a bad taste in their mouth. And you also helped walk them through. Now, there are some soldiers that they don't just get it. They don't get it. They don't get it. They don't get it. But typically, by the end of the first contract, soldiers get it. And they actually just don't want to deal with stuff like that, and they're trying their best to be good soldiers. And I feel like being a compassionate leader, someone that they can come to, they can talk to, they can trust, that they can tell you up front when something, hurricane is coming, like, hey, sorry, so I might have to, you might be getting a call soon, and and that's okay. You know, at least you can get your mind right. So hopefully this helped. I'm just rambling on this. Actually, I don't have like anything written or nothing, but I did a little reel. So if you guys are not following me on Instagram, you should be. It's Smiles Nay. It'll be linked down in the description bar. But I do want to talk to the active duty soldier. I want to talk to the NCO. I want to talk to the E4 promoter board. I want to talk to the corporal. I want to talk and share some of my knowledge. So please leave me down in the description bar, in the comments. Leave me in the comments some topics that you have been wanting to discuss or learn a little bit about, and we can do this together, right? We can do this together, because honestly, it's hard to find good leadership out there. And I'm not saying I'm the best leader, but I am a damn good leader, and I just want to help, like that mentorship, that reeling someone in and mentoring them and helping them develop. That's just not happening anymore. That's just not happening. And here we go. Let's do it together here on this channel. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope to see you back soon. And I am Renee, and I will see you in the next video and or vlog. Okay. Sorry, James, out.